I'm gonna do something different today. I just want to relax. So I'm gonna do some writing, fictional writing, because why not? Why not? Why not indeed? Already done a decent amount. We're 10 to 11, depending on which. Oh, you guys can't see the 11. Oh well. Yeah, we got like 11 pages on the revisions. But the original story, we're only at 10. But we are going to start with that first. We're actually going to start with a character template. So I'm going to probably work on that for a bit. I'll probably mostly be silent. Oh, I didn't check to see. No, these are... Okay, so the microphone button on my Stream Deck does work. Need to actually open up Stream Deck. Where is Stream Deck? There it is. Don't know why it didn't pop up during the first search. Ta-da! Okay, so now if I need to sneeze or do something like that, I can turn off the camera. Okay, 10 out of 10. I am happy. Alright, so I will be on mute unless somebody says something or I have something I want to say. Yeah, I'm listening to music and I think I know what song just turned on. Ah, yes. Good song. You guys can't hear it, but Erevar Rising. Lo-fi mix. 10 out of 10. This is a good question. Good question. Does she have any internal limitations? Don't want to get too far into the weeds when it comes to the science, so I'm not going to mention anything like her living on a moon affecting her like strength. Like, it's something I will mention for like one or two characters maybe, but I don't want to like get too far into the weeds about like how much weaker somebody is. Because I don't honestly think that in science. Who knows how well that science is honestly understood? I mean, us humans were designed for Earth. But who knows what it would be like to live on the moon? Yeah, mental limitations. Mental limitations. Don't want to get too far into the weeds here. Again, just don't know hindrances. Like, I don't want to like fully design out this church with like a bunch of different characters. Like, at this point in the story, I've only mentioned that Lena and there's a head priestess that works here, because I think that's all that's necessary to the story. So I don't want to go like, oh, this other priestess has issues with Lena that like just isn't going to be brought up in this short story, like in the scene that I already have pre-planned. So this is also an interesting point. Let me check this. Characters 110. That's actually a pretty good log line. Oh dang! Now this next song, of course, it's Miku up here. This sounds like a song one would hear on a vacation world ran by a bunch of casinos. Like, So this question is tripping me up because I'm thinking she would have a uniform, but I don't want to get into what the uniform looks like, but I probably should, maybe. Like, it's just that element of world building for what's basically a plot device here, the Church of Illumination or Illuminations. Like, I don't want to create an entire theology, and creating a uniform puts me closer onto that step. I don't want to call it a dress. I need to look up a term. Just looking at random images of dresses right now. I mean, I guess this works. $110 is what we're looking at. Let me pull back up OBS. 99 characters. Okay, that's cool. No, nope, I don't need that. Now you may have guessed, if we go back here and saw here, that yeah, I do use AI for this, but I have very specific, can't make this bigger, oh well, very specific settings. Design templates. I did not get this template from the AI. Correct grammar, keep track of world building, and tell me to update different stuff. It does recommend improvement to prose and word choice because, you know, AI is a word prediction machine. So, of course, it should be really good at predicting good words and good word choice. At least better than I am. I mean, I imagine Sanderson or some other famous author. Golly, I do not read enough. I cannot think of another good author. George Martin, maybe. would be able to generate better prose than an AI. Note, AI and storytelling, I mean, prose and storytelling are not the same thing at all. AI is awful at storytelling, as far as I can tell. Oh no, my coffee's getting cold. And so yeah, it can recommend word choice, and then it reviews scenes for consistent character portrayals and to prevent imagination. But I have it specifically told not allowed to recommend or develop its own scenes. No storytelling, no creative process involved, really. Cannot propose new characters, cannot propose character arcs, or engage in other creative actions. And from Drive. Yeah, so just straight up, the story is kind of derivative. Watson-esque? I just don't know what this exactly means. Like, how does this refer to Watson? So like, yeah, this is derivative. This story is going to be a mix of Cowboy Bebop and Sherlock Holmes, just straight up. So the character that is a combination of Jet and Watson does exist. In fact, I'll actually be writing one of his scenes next. But I just don't know how helping others. I guess maybe Watson is kind of like that. Like, he is a doctor and he does help people, but like doesn't have his own issues, really, does he? I don't know. Hmm. I'll add this to it. That's kind of somewhat captured in the test drive for major characters. The hum of a reflective dress. What? Okay. Yeah, you have to take some of this with a grain of salt. You definitely have to take some of this with a grain of salt. 10 out of 10, Google. 10 out of 10. I don't know if I want to like really get into like the politics of every single character. I actually didn't specify this, did I? Sometimes the AI gets some really weird hallucinations, but it's like not worth fighting with the AI on this because like this is a short story. But like if I were to like do some sort of really big world building exercise on all of Fortuna, there would be other churches owned by different casino families. It's just this one church is of importance. Like in theory, I could just be like, okay, yeah, there's other churches on Fortuna, or not on Fortuna, on the Azurian Court, which is the city that the specific story is taking place in. So in the Reichtech system, on the moon of Fortuna, on the Azurian Court, in the Chapel of Illuminations. And all of this falls under the Republic of Souls. None. So nothing too helpful. But otherwise, just like giving back, yeah, this is a good character to have. Who would have guessed? This might honestly be useful, specifically for that Holmes type thing. All right. We need new doc. And I do not have a name for this character, so I need to start generating a name. Yeah, I think I can share this site. Don't see any ads here. Real names. I don't know. This is difficult. Byzantine names? That's interesting. I actually do need this in a different window. So that way I can write things down. Whoop. Alright, so what I did for this is I just combined names. So like for the last name, I took the BAR and then the rest of this. And it seems to be working out all right as far as names go. Right, so yeah, we can just leave this here. Like this is definitely something that like it makes me ask question like this space elevator. Like, yeah, this is a sci-fi setting. Of course they have a space elevator. But it like leads me down a rabbit hole that I just don't want to go into of like, okay, how many space elevators do they have? And how does that amount affect the logistics? Because if there's different cities on this moon operated by different casinos, and of course they'd want their own space elevator, especially if they're acting as a parking garage. What did I say for her? No. Is vacationeers not a word? Mm. What is the auto conflict? Yeah, he's just a minor character. Well, 76. That's honestly pretty good. Let me scroll up. Oh, hey, this is the only one that zoomed in. It's fine. So this is that character. Let's look at the post AI revisions just in case the dialogue changed. Hmm. One thing that's definitely plagued me just by writing this sort of adventure mystery is just like the idea of somebody questioning like why is Serrano's doing this? Like he talked like he at this part of the story, they've identified a bounty and he's a travel posing as a traveling medic because that's the Watson influence. He's a doctor. And so he's providing aid to the garage workers, which of course the casinos pay him for. And I imagine somebody might ask, well, why is he even trying to get these leads from the garage workers? But I mean, I guess it's like something that would make sense, like if, like, because of the way they aren't formal cops, so they can't just go around interviewing each of the workers normally. And of course, the casinos themselves are corrupt, so if they tried to do that directly, they would draw attention to themselves. So maybe it, like on that side, I feel like this scene makes sense because it's a way of getting those interviews without alerting the casinos. Whoops, we want this one. I can spell. Should this be asked? Is that grammatically? Is this grammatically correct? It doesn't matter. Like that's like the one thing, honestly, I dislike about writing is grammar. Because like in my experience of like sharing works just online, you will always find somebody who's very keen on pointing out grammar mistakes because it's just an objective right or wrong. But it's not what I'm like worried about. Like obviously somebody has to have enough grammar sense in order to get their story across. But it's like I care about, do the characters come off well? Is the storyline good? And somebody just constantly pointing out grammar mistake, it just feels like, okay, well, like thank you, but I don't know if the story's good. This feels somewhat forced, but I'm at this point just reviewing this entire scene and like pointing out what I consider just to be not necessarily, what would be the term, plot devices, I guess, just to move the story along. Like, oh, I just granted the AI Oracle access to this character's work history because he was being stubborn. Golly, my nose is really bothering me. It's just these allergies that have kept me from streaming that much. There he is. Yeah, casual flippant speech. Why am I going to insert? Okay, slightly better. Definitely taking its time. Underbelly of a space elevator. I mean, I know this is just a figure of speech, so I'm not going to beat the AI over its head for that. And I mean, maybe this is honestly like kind of a interesting take if you think about it, to have like the underbelly be literally floating, well, not floating, but basically be floating in space. I mean, technically space elevators are attached, but I think like moon-based ones are like basically, I'm trying to remember the science, but I think they aren't like super structurally sound like what you would imagine one on Earth would be. It would be more so like a giant tether. So that's what it is. It's just a giant tether. That's actually a good question to think about. This, not so much. Yeah, I probably should mention this, but I mean, I think I've just mentioned in this stream that the space elevators is owned by the casinos. Whether or not it's owned by just the Neros or not is uncertain at this point, because there is a limit to how detailed I get with my world building. But I think it's actually time for me to BRB. The coffee is starting to hit. I wish I could set this to just like scroll up and down. Honestly, I probably could if I pulled up X mouse button controls that I use for FF9 speedrunning and set something to it. No, that only oh, that scrolls this. So like I could set it to a certain rate of going down, but then could I set it to go back up? That would be harder. But honestly, I'm not going to worry about it. All right, I exist. Is there anything? I guess I could add this. Is there an extra space here? What does it matter if I'm have good grammar on this document? All right, we go here. And now we get to actually do some writing. Metaphors are so difficult. It's like I think of this story, I know what needs to happen, but I now know that the writing needs to have like metaphors and or similes or something. I can't just say the air whipped past Hirono's and then move on with the story. No, I can't reference like something like a hurricane. Because it just doesn't fit with his character. Like it would either need to be medical related or it needs to be somehow sci-fi related. Or military related. Is this how bowels is spelled? No, I don't think it is. That's how it is. how many people would actually understand this? I was gonna say something like stars did as the fade reached relativistic speeds, but I don't think many people know of what's the specific term? I'll just use the simpler term, the Doppler effect. I don't think many people are aware of how light can also undergo that effect if you start approaching relativistic speeds. And even then, they don't really blend together. They just get closer together. Mm, gonna look up metaphors. My own weakness. What is this? Blending and metaphor. Well, the stuff you find when you just randomly Google stuff. Yeah, back to the other window. Let's go back here. Oh, I think I figured out what that was about. Conceptual blending. Yeah, I think that one document is just absolutely just drowning out what I'm trying to look for from Google. So that's kind of hilarious. I must use my own talents here. Oh no. I think that works. The colors of the ship there. I don't know if I like that metaphor, but I think it works for now. Would it be this? And should I use that in this? I'll think about that. Have I been on mute this entire time? I got distracted by an idle game that ended one run, so I had to start up a new run. Getting distracted by my mobile game. All right. Nah, shepherd over herd doesn't fit Ceranos. Medic and Grease Monkey floated above a number of ships covered in cloth and tarps alike. Google attempt again? I had another one that would have fit Sonos's bounty hunting perspective, but it also may not make sense in this context as well. Like I was thinking like lawyers over boxes of documents, but would in a sci-fi setting they really have boxes of documents? Maybe boxes of hard drives, which I'm pretty certain lawyers get nowadays. Okay. Whoops. I want that. I want down here. Did I have an additional? Yes. This is honestly a pretty short scene. But honestly, I'm kind of okay with that. Like, I'm aiming for this short story to be between 15 and 25 pages. It's most certainly going to go over 15. Like, I don't even have, like, the ending planned. Like, I only have up to, like, a big reveal down here. So it's probably going to be around 20-ish pages. Interesting. I broke the AI. Well, good thing that didn't work. This is honestly pretty interesting. What's going wrong? I literally have to Google what's going wrong with Google Gemini. I'm literally seeing that I may need to restart my browser, which wouldn't affect the stream. It would just be annoying. Also means you guys wouldn't see anything for a moment. Let's just try going back into Gemini. Okay, seemed to have worked now. Okay, I need to take this into another window. Go back here. There's no way this is right. Were, but it's singular, as if he were falling. Okay, yeah. I guess it's right. That's just crazy. Oh no. Americans don't know how to spell. Yep, hit the mic stand. Always take your medication, kids. Out of coffee. How sad. Mm, I don't know about this one. Maybe? Maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. Because obviously, like in the sci-fi setting, it's multi-gendered military or co-gendered or whatever. Eh, it is what it is. I'll just go with what the AI says. Now this is a hard one, but I'm not going to overthink it too much. Okay, so now this is an interesting line, and this is part of the reason why I use this AI is like I'm not a medical professional, so I would not think of this sort of thing like a spinal compression common in IG workers. I don't know if I want to lift directly from it. Permanence? No. Detrimits. No. Let me just ask Google. I hate it when I can't see OBS. That's wow, this screen looks way different. Like legitimately the color difference between my two monitors is just kind of crazy. Like this has a more tan yellow color, but even on OBS it's coming across as white. Oof. Yeah, this is definitely, like I mentioned, I don't want to get super lost into the weeds here, but it's just kind of crazy how little we currently know about what an interstellar civilization would honestly look like. Like, it might very well be that if a space elevator were to exist, like what I'm imagining, it would most certainly have to be spinning or have some other form of artificial gravity. Which I'm just trying to think about how that would look, like how a space elevator garage would look, where you have the tether and the elevators attached to it, but then you would have the it rotating not along the tether, of course. but along another body that's then attached to it. So maybe you would have like a circle. Yeah. And then in the center of the circle is the tether, but the tether stays still, but like it's all rotating like this way. And but that also means that, you know, the force is going out, so people would be walking along the walls. And from what I also understand, such rotational gravity has an issue with the closer you get to the center, the less gravity there actually is. So if you were to try to have a parking garage where it's like stacked, as you get closer into the circle, there would be less gravity. Wow. I didn't realize Scott was also an astronaut. How did I not realize that? For those who are unaware, hopefully this doesn't break my camera. As you can see, I have the Arizona flag. This guy is one of my state senators, and he's been to space. Has your senator been to space? A year? It's also kind of interesting that identical twins both became astronauts. Like that's in and of itself like research to study, like nature versus nurture. Like how similar would their nature and like obviously their nature is identical, arguably, but their nurture must, and well, their families, of course, but like I don't think it's that common for identical twins to pursue the same field. Yeah, so like some of this stuff I would just straight up ignore in my story because it just like makes it just way too difficult to try to resolve, and then I get lost in the weeds of being like, oh hey, here's this problem, and then I have to explain how the advanced society gets around it, and that just takes away from the overall short story and creates an additional burden because I have to then make that exposition interesting. Right, like if I were to try to build some sort of Tolkien-esque world building out of this, then like maybe I would get into that sort of stuff, but like nah. But obviously for Theranos, explained the above average muscle density, which we just read, typically goes away. So this is implying to somebody who's actually knowledgeable a lot that this guy that these people do a lot of work, a lot of exercise. Okay, let's go back to it's honestly let me zoom in so people can read this. I think this is fine to just take straight up. Okay, it really did like this line. See, this is something that like annoys me with the AI. It's using this in quotes. And while I did make this change because I didn't want to think too much about gender politics at this point in time, like as far as it's aware of, it was held to like a soldier and their rifle. Mm, like the fact that this tech exists probably should be mentioned somewhere. Maybe I'll just make like a miscellaneous tech document. Yeah, this is getting too much into the weeds here. I may delete some of these. Mm. Why can't I collapse menu? I don't know. I wanted to be able to have you guys see both of this, but I guess not. It's magnetic rail. I don't think I need to get into such unless it serves a narrative purpose. But like I could see in some story where a miscellaneous tech does matter like that, but then I'd probably like I already have a technology template for more important techs. Yeah, it doesn't even, it's entirely wrong here. There, I think that's enough. Uh, no, absolutely no. And also the fact that it gets this wrong is interesting. Like it's just so interesting how it just constantly is like pointing out things that I need to like I understand that I told it to do this somewhat, but I was thinking more so along the lines of like if I wrote something in a storyline, it would be like, hey, this should go in this document. Instead, it's just like, nah, dude, you should just write about a bunch of labor laws in this universe. Like, really? I can't even write about labor laws in this universe that I live in. Now I wonder if my friend would go insane if he had to deal with this stuff, or if he would actually enjoy this, because I have a friend who really enjoys world building. and just take it as the AI giving him a challenge. Anyways, we're nearly 2 hours in. It's nearly 9 p.m. Wow, I'm actually gonna have to stop the stream because I'm getting tired. And LA Road is 232 words. Wow. Wait, what was the exact wording for that? Okay. And I wasn't sure if it died down or just died. No, I didn't even write a page. Well, to be fair, I did spend some time on these two character templates. I mean, the reason they're looking at this ship is this. At least that's the medic reason. But I'm not entirely happy about it because I feel like radioactivity creates a bunch of questions like, oh, how could they not notice something's radioactive? And so, like, part of me wonders if I should just, like, change it to something else. Like, I don't know. Again, this could just be me overthinking things, but it's like, I don't know how far I can push suspension of disbelief. And I feel like it would be easier to mention like fumes or something and just be like, it's science. And people would be like, ah, oh, yes, science that we haven't discovered. Yes, I understand entirely. I will believe that without question. I honestly wanted to write more. It's really been nearly 2 hours. Dang, now I'm annoyed because I had an idea of how I wanted to continue this, but I think I have lost it. Oh well, I think I'll end stream here. A bit of a unique thing to do. Something different. Maybe next time I'll do whatchamacallit, some Skyrim. Golly, Skyrim. Now I'm thinking like I've been debating. Oh, there it goes. Of if I want to get, what do you call it? The Dagoth mod. I'm thinking about that a lot. It's just like, if you look through my YouTube channel, whoops, you will find an old Skyrim playthrough that's basically the same as Zula, just a little bit different. But it's just because it's like every time a new mod comes out, it's like, oh, hey, this enhances this story, this specific story about this Dunmer Dragonborn. And it's like, I'm trying to perfect that. And like Zula is most certainly the best perfection I've ever done of the story. But it's like, now that Dagoth mod is out, I'm just like, what? What? I mean, well, I understand that the mod author for one mod is in a situation, but I know there was a mod author who was working on like all the realms of Oblivion to be explorable. Like, that is definitely something that would cause me to return. 100%. Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. Yeah, it is time to end this stream. I need to think about how exactly I want to continue this scene. Because I had an idea, but now I've lost it. Oh well. Oh well. Bye.